Hi, welcome to
Hi.
Portfolio Interviews. My name is Julia Toma. I'm a professional pianist and rehab doctor. In this interview, I will talk with Christopher Park about the challenges a pianist faces in 2023 and what should a pianist do in order to be successful nowadays. Christopher Park is a great musician and amazing pianist. He was nominated by the Musikverein and Konzerthaus Vienna as Echo Rising Star in 2017. He won the Credit-Suisse-Award in 2015 and the Leonard Bernstein Award in 2014. Christopher has performed in Europe, Asia, and America. He made his debut in renowned European concert halls such as the Barbican Centre London, Concertgebouw Amsterdam, Musikverein and Konzerthaus Vienna, and others. Alongside his engagement as a soloist, he is passionately involved in chamber music. He taught at Dr. Hoch's Conservatory and the Hochschule für Musik und Darstellende Kunst in Frankfurt, and now he is a professor at the Norwegian Academy of Music in Oslo. Christopher, I'm very happy that today you're here with me. Welcome.
Thank you very much for the invitation. It's very flattering to have this kind of introduction.
It's really a short introduction, and it cannot summarize all your artistic activity and how great your resume it is. Christopher, please tell me, how does a typical day in the life of a pianist look like?
Yeah, that's a difficult question because nothing is typical, or nothing should be typical in the end, however, which is a contrast because unfortunately most of us musicians, not only pianists, but especially pianists, they typically practice always the same. And so I think typically there is a lot of practicing included, of course, which is normal just for the handcraft and for the step beyond. But untypically, it should be every day something new. So difficult to answer.
Something new, like what?
Always busy.
What do you mean by something new?
You know, one of the main problems as a musician, as a performing artist, but especially as a pianist, is that you practice a lot at home, and then you want to repeat it on stage. And that is not very good, in my opinion. It would be better the other way around, actually, to practice at home so that you don't have to repeat necessarily what you practice at home, but you're rather free because you know, stage and performing, sharing music with others should be something living out of the moment, you know, and therefore it is important to take risks and to decrease the risks. It is important to practice, but I think it's a wrong attitude approach to, you know, practice securely at home and then trying to repeat that on stage.
Okay, so you recommend then practicing or taking risk at home as well. This can be a solution.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, you know, many people are very nervous on stage, and you know, not necessarily on stage. It is already something different if you're playing only for one person sometimes than when you are just alone. You know it yourself. Yeah, and the problem is that we have to practice that kind of state of mind that we enter as soon as we are sharing music with somebody. You know, it doesn't matter if a few hundred, few thousand, or one person. And that state of mind needs to be recognized, accepted, and then you have to make friends with that kind of mode, and then you have to try to summon it when you're at home and when you are practicing alone.
Okay, I think it's very difficult to get so nervous at home and to imagine that pressure and anxiety of stage, of performance.
Yeah, you know, but this is the thing. It is not about summoning the nervosity or being nervous. It is being nervous is the result of it not being prepared or being afraid of it. But what is of it, you know, and this kind of this state of mind you are entering when you are sharing music with somebody, you know, that is the thing you have to practice. You have to practice concentration. in this truest sense. You have to practice to focus. You have to practice to be on a very high level of perceiving with your senses, you know, because on stage, of course, biologically all of our senses are much more sharpened, you know, because of this danger and so on. But this is what we already can do at home, to really try to sharpen our senses as much as possible. Some of musicians, they practice hours and days and weeks and months at home. And then for the one concert they have on stage, the first time since that long time, since these many months, they get into this very high concentrated state of mind.
Yeah.
You know, and that is what I mean, can be practiced. And if you can do that, and if you try to establish that kind of very high concentration, then the nervousness and anxiety doesn't happen so easily, because you are not surprised by it. So the nervousness, what I want to say, is just a result of it, but it's not. Okay. It's not this this state of mind, you know.
Yeah, and I think if you practice like this, then you're very exhausted after a few hours, or you cannot practice all the day. It will not be a typical day.
That is the thing I'm also trying to do with my students. You know, it is very, very difficult. The key to everything is listening to oneself, of course. And especially nowadays, we are not practiced in listening very carefully and listening to oneself, listening to others, of course. This is like a muscle that you have to learn to train. So in the beginning, you can stay in this state of high concentration mode and listening mode, very careful listening for maybe 1 or 2 minutes. And then you are totally exhausted, you know, depending on the piece, of course. So maybe in the first few weeks, you know, for people who start doing that, you are not able to do this for 20 minutes or even a concert, you know. So it needs to be practiced. This is the main thing, you know.
Okay, so this will be like the first phase. And after, when you are getting to use with this kind of practicing, what do you think is the next level?
Well, I think, you know, it's, I don't know how many levels there are, but this is, so to speak, the ground of everything, you know. It is the main basement of everything, the basis, actually, you know. When this door is opened, so much more is possible, and so much more is enjoyable, and yeah, I don't know what comes afterwards, you know. It means that you actually enjoy every concert. You are not afraid in a bad way. You are not nervous in a bad way. You know, you can be, of course, excited in a very positive way. But it ultimately means that you can, you're able to enjoy every concert, and every concert will be different, which is wonderful. Because, you know, if you're a concert pianist and you practice at home and then you replay every concert evening the same, and you try to fulfill a list, you know, this, and you replay it again and again, the music will not live in the moment, at least. Not really. You know, it is still, of course, enjoyable, but
it's maybe here, not on the top.
It might be, yeah. And some people sense it, you know, if it's really alive and really is something created in the moment, you know, and this is the magic, I find, at least.
Yeah, and it's very interesting that not only musicians or professional musicians feel it, also like the normal listener can feel it if it's magic or not without any training. So
that's a wonderful thing about music, right?
Yes. But how we can manage with the challenges of competitions, or I don't know, like strict environments, if we are taking so many risks and having fun, let's say, on stage?
Yeah, this is a challenge, at least a challenge of nowadays, of course, you know. I mean, competition and also the technical possibility to record things, they they motivated us to become perfect in my opinion, in a very bad and harmful way when it comes to arts. I'm trying, at least for my students and for myself as well, to change the perspective one has on giving concerts, on thus establishing a career and so on, because it became so automatic, so natural nowadays to prove something, to have this feeling to show off, to prove something on stage.
To impress.
To impress, exactly. That's an even better word. And it lays in our DNA nowadays somewhat, because with social media and all kinds of internet, we have this strange fashion of self-presentation all the time. We always have to present ourselves filtered in a perfect way. Everything is just great. And this also transpires, of course, to music, since music really is somewhat a mirror of our society. And I'm trying to change this kind of approach to music, so that it's not about proving something, or impressing, but to share something actually. You hopefully, at least musicians, really love what they are doing.
Yes, hopefully.
I'm loving the music I may do, I may play, I may explore again and again. And I have immense pleasure of sharing that with other people. It's like being on a very beautiful place on earth, and you are there alone. It is very beautiful.
Yes.
But it becomes so much more beautiful if you can share it with somebody, of course. And it's the same thing with music, I think. You have to forget that there is something to prove. You have to share something that you love, and then nobody can really attack you personally if you truly believe and love that. And of course there are stylistical and musically right
standards,
ways and standards, and a certain truth in music and so on, that should never be your own personality should never be bigger than helping the music or the composer, whatever you think. But still, as soon as you do that and you truly love it, then there is no mistake in sharing that. If you have that as a base rather than showing off, then it's so much easier, because also automatically you're not so afraid anymore, and you have nothing to lose, because it's just something.
Yeah, and I think it will transform from a desire of perfect performance then to something natural, just to give it to the others.
Don't you prefer some of these old recordings? They're full with mistakes, but
yes, they're really like that.
Yeah, I want to motivate the people to be brave enough, to risk things, to tell things. It's not about the sterile, perfect way of telling something, but that you are telling something, not only reading words, without any story behind it.